welcome. It is flea market season, and normally this time of year, every weekend, I would be getting up early in the morning and heading out to the flea market, whether to buy or whether to sell. But with what is going on in the world today, flea markets, at least in my area, are still closed. So what does that mean for the future of flea markets? I thought that I would bring this topic up, have an open discussion here, and feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know the state that you are in and whether or not your flea markets are open, and when they do open, will you be going? So my opinion here, again, open discussion, which is one of the great things about YouTube, is that the way that I view flea markets and this upcoming season, whenever they do open up, if they open up, is that there are two different niches, if you will, of flea markets. There are the sellers and the buyers. I am both. I've set up at the flea market since I was little, and I used to sell with my parents, and now I load up my car and I sell all the great things that I find, whether trash picking, yard sales, estate sales. I'm also a buyer. I wake up early in the morning and I get there and I purchase. Of course, I purchase paper, vintage, anything that strikes my eye. So I kind of see flea markets from both ends. Now for this discussion, I thought we could first talk about the sellers or the vendors. So there are some people that either their whole income comes from selling at the flea market, or the majority of their income comes from selling at the flea market. They buy inventory year round. They do house cleanouts, or they have a house cleanout business. They go to other flea markets, auctions, etc., storage units, and they purchase these items to sell strictly at the flea market. Many of them don't deal in online selling at all. No venues. They don't do Etsy, they don't do eBay, Poshmark, etc., because they like the cash. They like buying something at an auction on a Thursday, taking it to the flea market on a Saturday or Sunday, and having that inventory be gone and having doubled, tripled their money. So their inventory, they've still been buying it through the fall, December, January, February. They've been going to these storage units. They've been doing their cleanouts, and they've been buying things to sell at the flea market. Now, when the pandemic struck and things were kind of shut down in the beginning of March, if a flea market had been open through the year, they were closed. And upcoming flea market seasons, they never opened. The flea market that I go to most was supposed to open in April. They haven't opened. So sellers have this inventory that they've spent money on that have been sitting in their warehouses, their garage, and their trailers, and they can't get rid of it. Sure, they can do Facebook Marketplace, eBay if they venture onto those venues, but as I said, many just like to sell strictly at the market. So their inventory has been sitting there. They haven't made cash on it. When flea markets open, my point of view, I believe that the sellers are going to be out there. They are going to load up their trailers, they're going to load up their trucks, and they're going to be out there at the flea market ready to sell because they need to make that money back. And they also want to be able to clear out that inventory to have new inventory coming in when estate sales, storage auctions, when all those open up. What will their prices be like? That's a whole nother story. I think they're either going to be in the middle, or their usual prices where they're still making a profit. I don't know if they're really going to charge higher prices because then they can't get rid of the inventory. But they might think, well, sellers, they haven't been able to go out and buy, so they might be willing to spend a little bit more money on these items. That's a toss-up. It's looking at what sellers have, the storage that they have, and how quick they need to make a dollar or make their money back. But I believe that sellers will be out there. I know for myself, having accumulated a lot with trash picking these past couple of months, I'm running out of room. I have a small space to store items as it is, so I want to get out there and I want to sell what I can. As for my prices are pretty reasonable to begin with. If I have any higher end or higher dollar items, I usually sell them on online venues anyway. I don't take them to the flea market. Flea market is more for large items that I don't want to deal with, items that wouldn't really bring in that much money online, and then a lot of my trash picked items go to the flea market. So for me as a seller, I want to be out there. Whether or not that means there are going to be extra regulations at flea markets, I think we probably will have to wear masks for a while, so be it. If I can clear out things, clear out my inventory, and make room for more great trash finds, then I would be more than happy to don that mask and get out there. Now, for buyers, you have different niches of buyers at the flea market. You have the diehard flea market people that are out there every time the flea market is open. They get there early. They have their flashlights. They have their certain vendors or sellers that they go to immediately. They know when they see that blue truck with the trailer pull in that they need to get there as soon as possible because that person has great items. I think that those people are going to be at the flea market. They haven't been able to go to flea markets. Maybe they source through other venues, but I think, the diehards, when that flea market says, hey, this coming Saturday, we are open, they are going to be there and they are going to be in their glory because they haven't been able to do this for a couple months. Myself, I will be out there. I'll have that mask on, I'll go out there and I'll see what I can find because you have that, the thrill of the new season, the thrill of the new inventory, and now you have that added extra where you haven't been able to go to the flea market for months and you're itching to go. Same as those that love to go to thrift stores or go to rummage sales or Goodwill. When those open, I think they're going to be there. Then you have the other flea market goer niche, which is like the Sunday afternoon. Oh, we're in town. Let's go to this flea market. I've been trying to find this, ball jar for years or this mason jar for years. I want to put it on my window in this spot. Let's go and see what we can find. Will the casual leisure buyers be going to the flea market? I don't think that they're going to be out there at the crack of dawn on the first day of flea market opening. I don't think so. They're not your regular buyers anyway. They're that casual, let's do it for fun. I used to go to the flea market when I was 5. I haven't been here for 30 years. Let's go check it out buyers. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think for them, if they decide to go to a flea market, I think they're probably going to wait a little bit, maybe a couple months, and then they'll go. Or they'll kind of, ask around, like, how was it? Were there a lot of people there? Are people still social distancing, staying 6 feet apart? So I don't think that they're going to be rushing to the flea market to purchase. I think the diehards will be, and I think that there will be people there selling. When will the flea markets open up? I don't know. I am hopeful that sometime, hopefully this summer, they will open up. That might be being too hopeful, but I would rather be that than be sad and think, oh, there's not going to be a flea market season until next year. I don't know if they'll open this summer. Perhaps if not this summer, then in the fall. Flea markets are always a place where you usually try to be cleanly anyway. This stuff has been sitting in attics, basements, storage units for years, so it's not clean to begin with. So I think people that go to flea markets are probably a little bit more hygienic or aware of cleaning the items, not bringing the stuff into your house as soon as you purchase it, letting it sit out. I know that is what I do to anything that I purchase from anywhere. Flea market, yard sale, estate sale. It definitely does not come in my house, the minute that I bring it home. It stays outside, airs, I clean it, wash it, whatever I can do. So I'm hopeful that the flea market will open. When it will open, I'm not sure, but I will be there. And I think it will be good. I think a lot of people will be happy when the flea market opens up. So that's my viewpoint. I would love to hear what you think. And if flea markets have opened in your area, please write in the comments how are they? How are people dealing with that? Are there any differences in how people are selling or how people are buying? The people that are buying, that's a whole nother topic in of itself. Do they have the money to spend? Do they want to buy, that mason jar to just put on their windowsill and spend $10 on it? Who knows? But I thought also with flea markets, I would just share two of my favorite flea market finds. I know many of you asked to see some of my different collections, and I always mean to do a video of them, and then I never get around to it. I have a lot of trash bags to open up lately, but I wanted to share probably two of my favorite flea market finds. One of them is probably my greatest flea market blunder that I've ever made. So we'll start out with that one. So this, I'm sure many of you have noticed sitting there, is a lovely head vase. This is a Napeco ware, and she has a decent amount of damage. You can see her eyelashes are pretty bad. She has the crack right down her face. The flowers are broken, it chips. But the story behind her was that, I don't know how many years ago, maybe 6 or 7 or longer, maybe even 10 years ago, I was at my local flea market, and there was a woman there that had probably a table, at least a table, maybe a table and a half, full of head vases. She had the really small ones, medium-sized ones, large ones. It was her whole collection of head vases. Some of them were in bad shape, as this one is. Others were really nice. I think she wanted $2 for the small ones and maybe $3 to $4 for the medium, and then $5 to $6 for the large. I only bought one. I don't know why. Back then, I think maybe I just started selling online, or I didn't know how collectible the head vases were. And at that time, I still had like a track phone with no internet on it. So I couldn't go and look up. So I went home. I'm like, let me just see what these are all about. And when I looked on eBay, I thought, oh my gosh, you just missed the buy of a lifetime. I could have bought them all, even the chipped ones, and I didn't. And I was so mad at myself. So I went home. The next flea market day, which was the following week, I went back and I thought, maybe she's still there. Maybe no one else bought the head vases and I can get them all. She wasn't. I actually never saw that woman sell at the flea market again. I missed out, but I learned a valuable lesson that head vases, you should buy them, especially when they are cheap like that. But I picked her because I love the blue color, and there's just something about her that I liked. And it was probably a good thing, because my second most favorite flea market find was this sign. It's actually double-sided, but I will just show you and make sure you can see, get this right. I'll just hold it like this. I'll just show you this part. It's double-sided. If any of you watch Taco Stacks, you often refer to him talking about a guy named Box Truck Guy. And I've bought stuff. I want to make sure you can see the great. What if I put it here? I've bought some really neat things from Box Truck Guy in my time, and this is one of them. It's Catherine Kiss's Beauty Shop, Catherine Kiss proprietor, and then you have the face etched in, and it's double-sided, and this was actually from a somewhat local Pennsylvania beauty shop. I also bought a thermometer from him that said Catherine Kiss's Beauty Shop too. I paid $10 for this sign. Great buy. Probably the best thing that I've ever bought from him. And I realized after I bought the sign that, hey, like, she kind of goes with her. So I have this in an area of my downstairs going to my one bathroom on the wall. And then I have some vintage scissors hanging by it. And then I have a little shelf with her next to it. So it all flows together. But that was definitely, these two I think are some of my most favorite flea market finds. I found so many things, but these are two that I really do enjoy and I love seeing them. So I haven't changed that in years. I usually like to try and change my decor, but this always stays up. It's really fun when you buy things at totally different times, different years, and somehow they kind of just come together and it's like they were meant to be. So two of my favorite flea market finds, and a little question about what you think this upcoming flea market season will be like, if there is one. I hope there is one. Let's just be hopeful, because I can't wait until that, Saturday or Sunday morning when I can get out there, put my book bag on, and go to the flea market and take you all with me and see what treasures we can find. I hope you enjoyed this. A little bit different, but it was something that I wanted to talk about and just see what everyone else thinks. So yeah, well, hopefully in a couple of months, we can be really hopeful, say weeks, but doubtful, I'll be able to take you all to the flea market again and I can find more treasures to share. So thank you all for watching. Hope you all are doing well and hope you are having a good week so far. So until next time, take care and see you all later.